Hello, Curious! Hollywood often uses real events from the real world and turns them into stories that are intended to attract viewers to the cinemas. And it's no different with the movie Stillwater starring Matt Damon, and it's based in part on the controversial Amanda Knox case, and in America in 2007 became an international media sensation after she was accused of taking the life of her roommate while studying in Italy. And during the almost 8-year trial, she received a conviction, but after a long legal battle, she was finally cleared of the charges. And a few days ago, before the premiere of Stillwater on social media, Knox made some serious accusations against the creators and did not hide her dissatisfaction with the fact that the case from 14 years ago became an inspiration for the production. And what exactly did she accuse the director of the film of? And why did she say the movie would ruin her reputation? What are the details of the outrageous case in 2007? And why was Amanda Knox, 20 at the time, considered a heartless criminal? Stay with us until the end to get to know all of the information of this incredible story that's still on everyone's lips. But also, don't forget to turn on the notifications, subscribe to our channel, and leave a thumbs up so you stay up to date with all of the hottest news. Before Amanda Knox became the prime suspect in a murder, she lived with her family in Seattle, Washington, and there she graduated from high school and entered the university at the Faculty of Linguistics, and after a short time she also decided to leave her homeland and go to Italy to continue her education, and thus, at the age of 20, she moved to Perugia, a town north of Rome, and attended a university for foreigners there, and she moved to live there with 3 other female students, one of whom was 21-year-old Meredith Kircher from London, and during the first weeks of her arrival, Knox managed to find a job in a local pub and also met an Italian student, Raphael Sollecito, and with whom she started dating. However, not long after that, her life turned upside down. On November 1st of 2007, Amanda spent the night at the boy's apartment, and when she came with him to the apartment next morning, she was surprised to discover that the door was open and that one of the windows had been broken inside, but the traces of blood that she saw in the bathroom caused a greater concern, and she couldn't reach the other roommates for anything, and Meredith Kircher's room was locked for unknown reasons. Meredith decided to call the police, and after a while, the officers were on the scene, and they investigated the place and kicked down Kircher's bedroom door. A terrifying sight appeared inside their eyes, and the London student lay dead on the floor, and her body was covered with blood-soaked sheets. Amanda and her boyfriend were taken to the police station where they were interrogated for the next 5 days, and in a later trial, the American confessed that during her stay at the police station, she had not been provided with an interpreter or a lawyer, and she noted that she had been intimidated and forced to sign an incriminating statement saying that she was in the apartment the night of the crime, in a room next to Meredith Kircher's bedroom. And on November 6th, the Italian police announced that those responsible for the student's death had been found, and that Knox and Sollecito had been arrested. And the trial soon began, and they were officially charged with murder. The evidence to prove that Knox's guilt was traces of her DNA found in the clasp of the deceased's bra, and the fact that Sollecito, the samples of the deceased's genetic material, was on one of the knives found in his apartment. And the defendant's lawyer noted, however, that the presented evidence against Amanda was not found until a month after the crime, and the DNA knife was not considered a murder weapon. Another suspect was arrested in this case, and it was namely Rudy Guidi from Ivory Coast, who lived in the same block as Knox and her roommates, and the man aroused suspicion by the police because he had already had a record of several minor break-ins and drug possession, and was occasionally visiting the student's apartment. Further investigation yielded a surprising result, as his DNA was discovered on the body of the murdered Meredith, and he confessed to having been there in the room the night of the crime. And when he was arrested, he initially learned that Knox and his boyfriend were not at the apartment at the time, and then changed his story to incriminate them. As the evidence against him was conclusive, in 2008 he was found guilty of taking the life of Miss Kircher and was sentenced to 30 years of prison. It might seem that this is how the matter would end, but it turned out otherwise. Knox and Sollecito were still on the circle of suspects, and their guilt was supposed to be the evidence by the evidence found at Guidi's testimony, and the Italian prosecutor who dealt with the case additionally depicted that the accused Amanda as a staunch party girl who, on the night of the crime, dragged her boyfriend into the erotic orgy involving Rudy Guidi and ended taking the life of the accompanying Kircher. Giuliano Minghini, and even called Knox during the trial, we quote, the devil, and the whole thing received a widespread media coverage around the world. And in the Italian and British press, the American woman was portrayed as a dissolute person who did not shy away from intoxicants and brought to light any moments from her youthful life that could prove this. And in the United States, on the other hand, she was often portrayed as an innocent, and when her case ultimately resulted in the 26-year prison sentence, many of her compatriots advocates protested by criticizing the Italian legal system, and it found a woman was discriminated against as an American citizen and a young, attractive person, and her trial became an international sensation. So Amanda Knox and Rafael Solicito heard the verdict on December 29th of 2009, and in April of 2010, their lawyers appealed against the evidence and the testimony of the witnesses. And during further trial, the court-appointed experts stated that the DNA traces found were unreliable and did not prove the convicts guilty in any way. So the prosecution also questioned Rudy Guidi again, who finally admitted that Knox and Solicito were not involved in the crime. Thus, on October 3rd in 2011, a court in Perugia acquitted the couple, and Knox immediately returned to the United States after leaving the Italian prison. But her case did not end there, as in March of 2013, the Italian Supreme Court quashed the acquittal and ordered a retrial. New DNA evidence appeared, and despite the fact that the defense attorneys and the convicts challenged it, the court in January of 2014 sentenced the couple again. A further court battle began, and after the lawyers were dismissed, the Supreme Court of the Cassation on March 27th of 2015 finally quashed the sentences of Amanda and Rafael and found them innocent. And in its justification, the panel of judges stated that there was serious flaws in the original investigation, and the frenzy of the international media certainly did not help in the search of the truth. Amanda did not reunite with her Italian boyfriend after the trial, and she returned home, graduated from college, and started working as a freelance journalist. She wrote a book entitled Waiting to be Heard, a memoir, which quickly became a world bestseller, and the documentary Amanda Knox was also based on its story, aired in 2016 on Netflix. The case of the American is also inspired in the latest production of Stillwater. The film is about Bill Barker, in which you can see Matt Damon trying to clear his daughter's name after she was accused of murdering her friend while studying in France. The director, Tom McCarthy, confessed in one of his pre-premiere interviews that the crime drama was loosely based on Amanda Knox's case, and however, she did not like this at all, and she posted a very emotional post on Twitter in which she stated that the film had wrongly appropriated her identity in traumatic experiences. Knox stated that the 2007 story is being used without her consent, and in one of the posts she wrote, we quote, "Does my name belong to me? Is it my face? What about my life, my history? Why does my name refer to events in which I do not participate?" And commented that the film, focusing on the person, distracts the attention from the real perpetrator of the 2007 crime, Rudy Guidi. And she added that none of the creators had even spoken with her while creating the drama, and she lamented that Stillwater would make millions by ruining her reputation. According to Knox, the director saying that he was inspired by the Amanda Knox saga, and we quote here, strengthens her image as a guilty person and may suggest to the viewer that she was indeed involved in taking Meredith Kercher's life. And in her opinion, the film also omits such important aspects of her history, such as the ineptitude of the authorities and the mistakes of the Italian police, which caused her to be wrongly convicted of murder twice, and the authors of Stillwater did not make any reference to these statements. So Knox ultimately herself stated that she had to accept the fact that neither Matt Damon or Tom McCarthy had a moral obligation to consult her, and profiting from a story that distorted her reputation in a negative way. So curious, what do you think about this case? Do you think the film industry should be more careful about some of the real events that inspire filmmaking? Did you know the information of Amanda Knox's case and the battle in front of the Italian court? As always, be sure to let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click the subscription button, hit the notification bell, and give us a thumbs up, and we'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Wow Effect. Until next time.